everybody. It's Connie with the Artisan Company. Yes, I am driving again, on the road again. Just can't wait to get on the road again. Anyway, I am headed into Nashville to go to a drum clinic with some friends of mine that are fellow drummers. And so I am sure I will get some inspiration for a new piece of jewelry. Let's rock and roll. Let's go. Okay, we are going to get started on this project today. Let me back it up just a little bit. Since I went to the drum clinic, it triggered me to remember a piece of jewelry that I used to wear when I played in this funk band. So I thought today I would do a rendition of that just to get the rock and roll feel going here. Anyway, I did a lot of native or Southwest looks with a rock and roll edge when I was in a band. So this is kind of one of those things. I'm going to tell you what we've got here and then we'll get started. You will need some head pins. You will need some 6.0 Rocal beads. And they're just little round, or a round bead that's a 6.0. And I got these right here. Let me do this. I'm not used to doing this backwards here. I got this from Fire Mountain, and this is what I got, and it's a 6.0 black. You can use whatever you want. This one is a 4 millimeter, I have to shift from those two, a 4 millimeter accent bead. This is a 4 millimeter cone bead cap. You'll need some 6 millimeter accent beads. I've got copper and silver tone here. You will need some 8 millimeter accent beads, and I've got copper and silver tone in this. You'll need a 10 millimeter jump ring, and then you'll need some, this is a 10 by 5 millimeter crow bead, glass crow bead. And these are large hole. That's why we have to have this right here so we can fill in that hole. And then sometimes these are referred to as pony beads, but they're usually plastic if they're pony beads. So you want the crow bead is what you're looking for. And then this is the jingle cones that are worn on a lot of the jingle dresses and other types of regalia that are used. And these are 25 millimeters long. Now, the cones, the crow beads, these copper and silver beads, you can get all of those at a place called Crazy Crow. They carry a lot of Southwest Native American type things. Now, when you're doing the crow beads, just so you'll know, if they need to be exact. So you want the Czechoslovakian cut ones, not the ones from India. The ones from India will have irregular holes, irregular shapes, and you're going to need this to be pretty precise. So you want the Czech cut crow beads. And you can also get these from Crazy Crow, but you can also get these from Fire Mountain. Okay, so this is kind of where we're going. It'll be a 16-inch roughly. And so let me get my head around it and we'll get started. Okay, so you will also need a clasp, just so you'll know you're going to need a clasp. You got to finish it off somehow. And I am using a heavy gauge beading wire. You can get Soft Flex or AccuFlex. And I'm using AccuFlex heavy beading wire. You can get this at pretty much any craft store, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Fire Mountain, Shipwreck, any other privately owned hobby shops, Joann's maybe too, I think places like that. But this is what I'm using. Okay, so I've got these little daisy guys here too, just in case I need a filler, but I'm just not sure if I'm going to use them or not. But I do have those. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the cones, which will be the centerpiece of the piece of jewelry. And here is where we're going with it. So you can see where we're going. These little cones are going to be dangling in the front, and they're very fluid, so they're going to move a lot, and that's what we were wanting. So this is where we're going first. Okay, so you'll need your head pins, your cones, obviously, and your jump rings, and then your black and silver little accent beads. Now, with the cones, just so you'll know, the cones, they're fatter on one end than they are on the other. So the smaller end, what you're going to need to do with these is you're going to need to twist them to make them smaller, because you're going to try to put the top on it with the two beads, and you want it to be smaller. And you also want the head pin to stay uh, holding everything inside. So I did that a little bit smaller so you could see what I was doing. All right, we're going to do one or two of these, and then we'll get started with it, but we're going to do all these first. I'm going to make sure that's tightened up right there. The hole's tightened up. Then you're going to take a head pin. Whoops. You're going to put one of the little rocal beads on it like that. You're going to stick it through the bottom of the cone and pull it up, and it should look like that. It should not be hanging out of the bottom. That's not where we're going, but anyway, should not be able to see it. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put on another black glass bead and one of the little silver 4mm accent beads. It should look like that at this juncture. You can see that. Now we're going to pull it taut, make sure there's no play in there, and then we're going to clip that end off. And I want to make sure I have enough that I can make a good loop on the top. And if you have one of those looping tools, great, use that, because that will help you in your time and effort. If you don't, then just take your time and use your needle pliers here. All right, mine are marked with little tick marks on there, you can see. And I'm going to loop every one of mine at the same place. And it's going to be a fairly large loop. And it's probably going to feel kind of loose once you've done it, because of the nature of the beads and the largeness of what you're working with. So it should look like that. All right, we'll do one or two more. This one I already curled and made it tighter. Get your little stop bead. I call it a little stop bead. You can use anything. I just happen to have those. Pull it up tight inside there. Add another black bead on the top. And you can use anything you want. If you want all of your metal beads to be glass or some other bead, that's fine. It's the overall concept of this is what we're going for. Now you can duplicate it exactly if you want to, and that's fine too. All right, pull this down, this piece right here down tight, so you'll make sure you know where you're clipping, because this is kind of loosey-goosey feeling. Okay. Yeah, it's going to feel a little loosey-goosey to you, because it's not exactly tight like it would be on a different piece of jewelry. All right. In other words, it's going to wiggle. You can see wiggles. It's going to wiggle like that. All right. So I've got two of them done. I am going to do the rest of these, and then we'll get back. All righty. We're getting ready to start beading. And as you can see, I've gotten all the cones done. They've all got all the beads on them, all the loops on the top. And like I said, they're going to feel loosey goosey. They're not going to be like a real tight fit, simply because of the nature of the cone. So don't worry about it, because when it's hanging, you won't have that issue. It's not going to be seen. Okay, so because this is simple, it's a very, very simple design. However, because of the placement of the cones, you can make a mistake real easily. So we're going to start in the middle. And I would say the red to the red would be the actual center of the necklace. So the two black are right smack dab in the middle. So you can see the pattern. We've got a large copper, a black crow bead, another large copper, a red crow bead, a large copper, red crow bead, a large silver red crow bead, a large silver red crow bead. And we duplicated that on this side. And then when we get to the white bead right here, this is the smaller copper and silver. They're the 6 millimeter size, starting where the white and the red meet. That's where your bead size, your metal bead size is going to change. And remember, in each one of these crow beads has to have your little cone shaped bead cap. This is the reason why I use them, is because the crow bead has a large hole in it, as we can see here. It has a very large hole, and you need to fill in some of the space. So like we did on another project the other day, you're going to set that little cone shaped bead cap inside the large hole, so on the crow bead. And it's like a little volcano. It's shaped like a little volcano. So the top of the volcano goes down into the bead. Hopefully that'll help you to remember it. Okay. All right. So we're going to slowly do this because I don't want to mess up the design or get something out of kilter. So we're going to start with the very center. I'm going to pull him out. And I'm going to work to my right on this. And I'm using the very two in the middle. Now, these two cones are longer than these. That's no big deal. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just happen to have them, and I thought it might be a nice little accent. Whoa, there's a fly in here. Whoa. We just had a major cloud burst here, and I had to quickly run and let my cat in. And a fly came in with it. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is put on the first cone, and I had 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 14. So you'll have 7 on each side. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is take this black crow bead, and remember it has to have a little bead cap in there, the little cone bead cap. So make sure that you put them on the right direction, depending on which way you're going. They have to go in the right direction because they got to fit into the bead. You can see right there, into the bead. Okay. Got something on my hand. I have no idea what I got on my finger. Got ink and everything else going on here. All right, and then the next thing we'll put on is the next cone. The large metal bead. Should be looking like this at this juncture. And if any of your little cones are crooked like that, that's okay. You can go back and adjust them after you get it all together. Then the next thing we're going to do is put on the red crow beads. So we need a little bead cap in there to hold it steady. Get on there. Then the crow bead. Yep. Oops, I forgot to put my cone on. Put my cone on first. Then I'll snap that little crow bead on there. There it goes, right there. Then another cone bead cap. Like I said, this is one of these necklaces that it's not hard. It's just that you can definitely make a mistake if you're not paying attention. Next little jingle. The next piece of metal. The next little jingle. You need the cone-shaped bead cap. And you've got the crow bead. Another little cap. I need to turn these little caps over so I can pick them up easier. Get on there. Another jingle. You're basically, the jingles are going to be flanking each one of these crow beads. That's basically the pattern. And then a piece of metal. A jingle. You need a little cap right there. Fit inside the crow bead. And another cap to fit in the other side of the crow bead. Yeah, and then the piece of metal. And that's all your jingles for this side. We're going to go ahead and put on up to the white bead. All right. Okay, and there is the smaller piece of metal right there. Okay, so yours should be looking like this. Is that not just so much fun? Oh my goodness, I love jewelry that makes noise. So much fun. All right, that's one side. I'm going to go ahead and work this side up to the white bead, and then I'll get back. Alrighty, we got the middle done, and you can see this is what it's kind of shaping up to be. And remember when I said a minute ago, if anything of these looks off kilter or crooked, wait till you finish the whole entire necklace and then go back after it's done and just tweak the wire in here that's holding everything together, because when it falls, it's going to fall level, so you're not going to have to worry about any of that. But if anything looks a little off kilter, just tweak it a little bit. It's all good. All right, we're getting ready to start the rest of this part of the necklace. And like I said, it's going to be about a 16-inch. I think this will lay beautifully in the front of the neck. At least when I had mine, and actually I still have mine. But when I wore mine, it hung so beautifully and jingled when I played, and I loved it. So we're going to finish these out right here. And remember, you're going to put the little bead caps in there. So I'm going to start on one side here. And we got to put this little guy in here the right way. It has to go into the bead. These little things are so tiny, tiny, tiny. And then we have a silver. I can tell I've been working in metals. My hands have all the metal stuff on it. All right, let me move this down just a little bit. It's amazing what these little cone bead caps can help you with if you'll just keep some on hand. And like I said, these are a 4 millimeter, 4 or 5 millimeters, so just keep some on hand because you just never know when you're going to need a filler for something to hold something in place. Doing the black one now, and then I've got a copper bead, the next black crow bead. Did I put him on there right? Nope. Let me flip him. Oh. And like I said, try to remember, to get your crow beads, the Czechoslovakian cut ones, because otherwise this will not lay anything like this. It'll be all wappy jawed because of the irregularity. So the Czech cut crow beads are your best, and like I said, you can get them from Fire Mountain and Crazy Crow. Anytime I do a huge choker of any kind, I always use the Czech cut crow beads. Now you can use pony beads if you want to save some money. They're plastic, so if you want to save some money, you can do that. But if you want it to look more authentic, you need the real thing. Okay. All right. Nose is itching. All right, I'm gonna clip that one right there so he doesn't come apart. All right, and then we're gonna work on this side. Is this not absolutely gorgeous? Look at this. Wow, wow, wow. It's just stunning. And the white just gives it just enough break between the beads that your eyes going, ah, and it goes into the next thought. Okay, I'm going to bead this side right here onto this one, and then we'll move on. Well, we are nearing the end of this necklace, and as with anything, the creative process always enters into my vision here. So, but anyway, what I decided to do was, and you can do it any way you want to. You can continue the large crow beads all the way up if you want to, but I decided that I wanted to do the smaller crow bead up the side and add a little touch of red at the end. That's kind of an oddball decision, but hey, it's a rock and roll piece. So I'm going to just do that. So, anyway, so what I'm using is these are also crow beads. The holes aren't quite as big as the other ones, but these are a 7 millimeter crow bead, Czechoslovakian cut. So this is what I'm going to use in black to finish out. I'm still using the little 4 millimeter accent bead here. And then I'm adding the red is exactly like the black that's down here on this. The red is exact same bead. It is a Rocal bead 6.0. I got this at Fire Mountain, so that's what I'm using. Okay, I am going to bead a few of these for those of you who like to watch that process. And since I'm starting a new thought right here, I'm using an accent, a larger accent bead right there. And I've got 8 of the black crow beads with silver. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And since these are larger hole, they're very, very easy to bead, as you can see. But the crow beads are very standard usage in a lot of the traditional Southwest or Native American styles. So I use a lot of crow beads in a lot of things. And I love them, especially in the chokers, because that's what gives them their uniformity. Now, if you don't want it to look quite as uniform, then you need to use a different kind of crow bead, maybe one from India, if that helps somebody. How many do I have here? Let me count the ways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Okay, so when I get to this, I'm going to start the red, and I have 5 of the black. So red, let me pull these over here. They're just rolling everywhere. This is so fun. I'm really excited about recreating this necklace. I'm just stoked about it. Oh my goodness. I mean, one more. I haven't worn mine in quite some time because I haven't played in any clubs in quite some time. But it's just a great piece of jewelry. It's just a great piece of jewelry. All right, so we got that finished. All we've got left is the clasp. Oh my goodness. Last thing is putting on the clasp, and I did this side just to expedite our time. And I chose this beautiful ornate S clasp. I love these because they're so easy to get on and off, and I love them. Almost everybody that I've ever designed jewelry for has loved either an S clasp or a hook and eye just for the ease of it. Of course, some things are more dainty and you need to use daintier things like lobster claws and things like that. But I love this, and so that's the direction I'm going. All right, let me get my eyes down here. So what I did was I went ahead and I beaded up here. Then I put a finishing bead on right here on the end, right here, and then I'll have the blah 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 blah. The crimp goes right there, and then we'll have a crimp cover on it. So, and I kind of jingled everything down so I didn't have a lot of excess wire up here at the top. So we'll do that. The clasp goes on. I'll turn him here just a little bit so I can make sure I'm working at a good angle here for myself. All right. This has been such a fun project to recreate this. It's I didn't have white in mine when I did it originally. I didn't do this bit or this bit. I did mainly all big chunky things, but I'm kind of liking this bleeding back into the red, and from the back, if you're wearing your hair up, it'll look just so fun. So I'm kind of enjoying recreating something that I wore several years ago. Uh, it's just been fun. I hope it's been fun for you guys. And if it has been fun and you've gotten some inspiration, please remember to like and subscribe and comment. Your comments really encourage me, guys. So thank you so much for that. But like and subscribe if you're getting some inspiration. You just got to get out there and try something new. All right, I just crimped my crimp. You flatten it and then fold it. And then I'm going to work as much of this wire back through here as I can. This is a heavier gauge wire, so it's not going to be as fluid as the fine and medium gauge wires. But it's going in there pretty good because these are large hole beads. And we'll try to figure out where I'm at down here. Oh, wow, I'm almost all the way down. All right, I'm going to pull it out just a little bit so I can continue on. There it is. He's still going. Come on out of there. Come on out of there. There it is. All right, and I'm going to try to bead just a little bit more down in there, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to try to get to that spot right there. And it's continuing to go in there. Wow. Okay. I think I want to stop it right there, though. All right. I'm using a little pin to separate the wires and pull it out because it was pretty tight. And then I'm going to use my flush cutters. I'm going to cut that right next to that bead as tight as I can get it. All right, last thing is this beautiful, beautiful crimp cover. It's going on next, and we'll be done, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. What memories this brings back. Fun, fun, fun memories. I played in a Euro techno funk band. I know that's a mouthful. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. It was back in my skinnier days and where I had tons and tons and tons of energy. Oh my gosh. Okay, we are done with this project and look at this. Oh my goodness, guys. Just the fun. Listen. Oh my, I love jewelry that makes noise. All right, I hope you enjoyed this project. I sure did. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.